Demogorgon. The Demogorgon is the face of the Upside Down for a reason. Tall, skeletal, and starving looking, it moves in sudden jerks like an animal that hasn't eaten in decades. It stays silent until it opens its face, that horrible flower made of flesh and teeth, and the moment it spreads wide, something is about to die. People think the Demogorgon is wild, random, a beast acting on instinct, but the truth is worse. The Demogorgon is a soldier. Vecna didn't create it, but he learned to control it. Season 1 changes completely when you see it through that lens. Will wasn't taken by accident. Barb wasn't a random victim. The way it stalks them, corners them, and drags them into the dark is too deliberate. By Season 5, the trailers show a Demogorgon pulling Will toward Vecna's domain. Demogorgons weren't just monsters. They were the first weapons Vecna ever used. The Russian prison sequence in Season 4 shows that Demogorgons can be domesticated when fed and conditioned, proving they possess trainable intelligence and respond to environmental reinforcement. The Stranger Things Worlds Turned Upside Down guide confirms Demogorgons operate through a rudimentary but strategic awareness. It's smarter and more precise than anyone realizes. Demodogs are the half-formed cousins of the Demogorgon. Faster, aggressive, and terrifyingly obedient. They run on all fours like starving wolves, but their heads still split into those petal-shaped maws built to tear through bone. When Dart grows in front of Dustin, we learn the truth. They evolve fast, hunt in packs, and kill with precision. Through the hive mind, every Demodog is connected. When one senses something, they all do. That is why they tore through the Hawkins lab like a single synchronized organism. Demodogs reveal how the Upside Down grows its monsters, not individually, but as a system. The tadpole stage shown in S2 proves they develop through 4 clear life phases, and Dr. Owens states their biology resembles rapid, forced metamorphosis, suggesting the Mind Flayer accelerates their development artificially. Mind Flayer shadow form. When 11 ripped open the first gate, something enormous woke up on the other side. Not a creature, not a beast, a mind. The Mind Flayer drifts like a floating storm cloud made of living shadow, but it thinks like a tactician. It infiltrates, observes, and builds hives. Will Byers became its perfect link. Cold visions, dread that wasn't his, knowledge that didn't belong to him. The Mind Flayer couldn't fully control him, but it could watch through him, learn through him. It became the network that Vecna later harnessed, an organic internet connecting every corner of the Upside Down. The Mind Flayer doesn't roar or chase. It waits and absorbs. The Duffers confirmed in interviews that the Mind Flayer's shape resembles a spider, because it is derived from Henry Creel's imagination, not its original form. The creature's shadow particles are based on real atmospheric cloud simulations the VFX team created to represent a living storm system, just to add another layer of realistic horror to the monster. Mind Flayer, physical form. When the Russians reopened the gate, the Mind Flayer didn't hesitate. It built a body, a towering pulsating mass created from liquefied rats and flayed townspeople. Its limbs stretched with human bone. Its surface bubbled like melting flesh. Every part of it screamed like the victims it consumed. This wasn't just a monster, it was an avatar, a physical extension of the Mind Flayer's will, designed for a single purpose: kill 11. The flesh giant proves that the Upside Down doesn't just create monsters, it constructs vessels. Behind the scenes, the monster's design was directly inspired by John Carpenter's The Thing, and the showrunners confirmed it contains the conscious suffering of its victims, which is why it reacts violently when confronted by people it previously flayed. Tom Bruce Monster. When reporters Tom and Bruce were flayed, the Hive used them for something far worse than puppetry. After they died, their bodies melted into sludge, flesh dissolving into boiling gore, then fused into a creature that hit harder and moved smarter than either of them had been in life. It crawled across walls with animal precision, reassembled after being blown apart, and acted with one unified intent from the Hive. The Tom Bruce monster reveals the true horror of the flayed. Death does not free you. It recruits you, reshaping everything you were into a weapon. The creature mirrors the behavior of the rat melt swarm earlier in the season, confirming that the Mind Flayer relies on biomass memory, a process where every fused body retains fragments of the people it consumed, their instincts, their habits, and their final emotional imprints. This is why Nancy recognizes Tom's movements during the fight, because the monster is still carrying echoes of him inside its flesh. Demobats. At first glance, the bats of the Upside Down look like background wildlife, But the moment they swarmed Steve under Lover's Lake, the truth became obvious. These things don't just bite, they devour. Blind, shrieking, razor-jawed, and shockingly coordinated, they behave more like attack drones than animals. The second someone enters the Upside Down, they swarm, relaying information through the hive mind. They act as Vecna's scouts, alarms, and eyes in places he can't reach. One bat is nothing. A swarm is death. And in Season 5, they will only get worse under Vecna's command. In Season 4, Dustin explicitly states the Demobats lack reproductive organs, meaning they are not a species, but a manufactured organism built strictly for surveillance and attack. The Duffers later confirmed Demobats cannot be tamed like Demogorgons, the spider monster. Season 3's flesh monster is body horror, refined into something merciless and unrelenting. Thousands of rats and flayed humans did not simply die, they dissolved, their bones liquefying and their skin melting into sludge that crawled like boiling tar. Every fragment pulsed with a heartbeat stolen from its victims. The mass fused, rose, and shaped itself into a towering form that twitched as if furious at being alive. Its limbs stretched too long, bending at impossible angles, its surface writhing like trapped flesh trying to escape. This creature was not a species. It was the Mind Flayer building a body from whatever it consumed, a puppet engineered from human material, and animated by something ancient. Every muscle and every droplet of melted bone existed for one command: destroy 11. The creature never wandered. It targeted places tied to her, tearing through Main Street, storming the hospital, and descending on Hopper's cabin with a hunter's deliberate certainty. The hive retained its victims' memories, including Billy's senses and every instinct of the flayed, transforming them into a living compass shaped by suffering. It felt her. It knew her hiding places because they once did. It did not search. It stalked, following a cold map carved into its own flesh. The Mind Flayer did not need eyes to find her. It had people. Demo Serpent Tunnel tendril creature. Many viewers assumed the creature that attacked Hopper in Season 2 was only a vine, but the Duffers confirmed it is a semi-sentient organism, a tunnel serpent connected to the hive. It reacts, contracts, senses movement, and strikes like a predatory eel. When disturbed, it coils with an instinct that feels older than the world it lives in. It does not wait for prey. It reaches for it. When cut, it bleeds. It is not a plant. It is alive, hungry, and proof that the ground of the Upside Down is built from living tissue rather than earth. Even the walls breathe around it. In Season 2, Episode 5, the tendrils retreat after being burned, revealing that they feel pain. This notchception shows that these creatures share a single nervous system with the larger tunnels. The tunnels also have a circulatory system, shown when Hopper's boots become trapped in a pulsating membrane that sprays fluid when sliced. Later concept art confirms that these serpents serve as sensory organs for the hive, detecting heat, footsteps, and even emotional agitation, which allows the Mind Flayer to track intruders the moment they enter its realm. Shadow Puppeteer. What lived inside Will was not simply an infection, it was a creature, a fragment of the Mind Flayer that behaved like a parasite. Coiled deep within him, it reacted to heat, screamed through his body when injured, and thrashed with violent instinct whenever it sensed danger. It did not merely influence him, it occupied him. Fans call it the Shadow Worm, the Possession Parasite, or the Mind Flayer Fragment. Whatever name you choose, it functioned as its own organism. It spasmed in response to light, recoiled from heat, and pushed Will's movements like invisible hands pulling his strings. It tracked sounds, tasted chemicals in the air, and bristled whenever the Mind Flayer reached for it across the hive. It was not the Mind Flayer's full consciousness, but a living nerve torn from something far older and far larger, a single strand of a creature that fills an entire world. Joyce's discovery that heat repels the parasite connects to the Upside Down's ecosystem, which thrives in cold environments and weakens in warm spaces. That reaction is not random. It reveals that the parasite relies on cold air to maintain structure, metabolism, and awareness. When the temperature rises, its cells destabilize, its senses dull, and its connection to the hive falters. Vecna. Vecna is not a monster living inside the Upside Down. He is the Upside Down. After 11 blasted Henry Creel into the parallel world, the realm wrapped itself around him like a parasitic shroud. It reshaped him, amplified him, and turned his hatred into raw psychic force. His mind fused with its soil and its storms, and the world became an extension of his thoughts. Vines plug into his flesh as if feeding on his memories. Spores drift around him like a silent blizzard waiting for orders. The entire realm stirs when he thinks. Every clock chime, every nightmare, every hallucination that claws its way into a victim's mind originates from him. Vecna does not simply command monsters. He conducts them with the precision of a living nerve center. The creatures move when he wills it. The air bends to his presence. The tunnels pulse with his intention. Even the quiet places of the realm echo with fragments of his consciousness. He senses heat, fear, and emotional weakness through the hive. He can reach through vines, through dust, through the memories of the flayed, searching for prey without taking a single step. His power is not limited to physical forms. It extends into dreams, visions, and the mental architecture of anyone who crosses his path. The Upside Down became his body, and every corner of it breathes with his anger. Every creature in the Upside Down leads back to him, because Vecna is the final shape that world has been trying to build. The mind that carries every instinct the realm ever learned. If you want to see how that evolution unfolds and how many forms that mind can take, continue into every form Vecna takes in Stranger Things. Explained in 11 minutes. See you in the Upside Down.